Today I'm doing one of my favorite Holy Grail recipes of all time. This is a pizza recipe that will be your last and final pizza recipe. It is so easy to remember. Right now I'm starting it at 8 o'clock in the morning. I always start it like in my morning, and then there is no kneading it, there's no babysitting it, there's no checking on it. You just mix everything together in a shaggy dough, and then you wait until an hour before you're planning to have dinner. That's when you'll form it into balls, and then you'll heat up your oven at that time, and then the actual assembly of the pizza is a few minutes. I have timed it myself, and the actual time into this pizza is less than 15 minutes of hands-on time. So let's start with this. The ratio for the recipe is 1723. So that's just what I remember always in my brain. It's 1723 grams. So today I'm doing a smaller batch, but so the recipe will be for 1723, 1,000 grams. The ones column is 1,000. I mean, the thousands, obviously I suck at math, but the one in 1723 stands for 1,000 grams of flour. I use sometimes pizza flour, sometimes bread flour. You can do all-purpose flour. I prefer either bread flour or pizza flour, but it doesn't have to be any of those things. It just makes for a more chewy dough. So 1,000 grams of that, 700 grams of water, 20 grams of salt, 3 grams of yeast, and sometimes I drizzle a little olive oil on it, just for good measure. But the 1723, if you remember that, this will make 3 large pizzas for your family, or 3, like decent sized pizzas for your family, depending on if you like really thin crust or regular. This is just regular crust. It'll make 3. Today I am only doing half a batch because that's just what I'm doing. So now I have to calculate out the math. So I guess it would be 500 of flour. It'll be 350 of water. It'll be 10 of salt, but I'll keep the yeast at 3 grams because 3 grams is very little. I mean, it's like a pinch, and it's going to work its magic all day. If you put too much yeast in now, it will have run through its efficacy by the end of the day, and we want this to stay all day. We want to fix it in the morning. You can fix this at 6 in the morning. You can fix it whenever, and then it'll just vamp all day. Okay, so yes,
you need to take a picture of it.
Okay, just a minute. I'm doing some cooking. I'll be there in 1 second. Alright, so this should be in grams. We zero out our thing before we start. I'm using a dish with a lid because I don't want a lot of air to get into it. I'm using bread flour today because I couldn't find my pizza flour. I see you, bud. Again, this could be over or under by quite a bit. It doesn't have to be exact. Then we're going to zero it out again. We're going to do 350 of water. You do not need to fly your water in from Brooklyn or use any type of special water. Hold on, I need some more. Alright, so now I'm going to add 10, well, I got 12 of that, of salt, and then a little pinch of yeast. I sometimes pour it into the lid so that I make sure I don't overdo it on yeast. Let's see if that's 3. That's 1. Okay. There we go. 3. Okay, so I will mix all of that together, and I'll show you what that looks like, and then we're going to put a lid on it and walk away for a bunch of hours. Alright, so this dough looks really shaggy right now. I'm just going to give it a tiny little glug of olive oil. It will come together as the dough hydrates, so you don't need to be worried. So what I do is I make sure there's no little crusty pieces of flour sitting around that don't have a shot. So I'll just kind of make this. I've been stirring this for 10 seconds. I'll do another 10 seconds when I am not recording. I'll show you what it looks like, then we'll cover it. Alright, so this was about 10 more seconds. You can see it's not exactly like a dough yet, but it doesn't need to be. The yeast and everything will hydrate over time. And then I'll see you back in about 6 or 8 hours. Quick pop in after a few hours to show you how it's already starting to, see how it's kind of starting to turn into something. You don't have to do this at all. I never usually do this. I never check on it, but just kind of to show you like how it's making a little pizza baby here. Okay, I got back after our errands and everything. Here's the dough now. I'm going to cut it in half, form it into 2 balls, and put each of those balls on a piece of parchment paper while the oven heats up. I like the oven to heat up as long as possible, so I'm going to put these each in a ball. I'm going to dust it with a little either cornmeal, or I'm going to use semolina flour. That's kind of like what you get at a pizza restaurant, where it's like kind of, you know, whatever on the bottom. And yeah, I'll show you that setup in a second. Alright, so here's the dough ball sitting here. I'll let this rest for about 30 minutes while the oven's heating up. And then we will top it with some toppings and throw it in. Sometimes I'll like cook a sauce during the day, which is just San Marzano tomatoes, onion, just like cooked all day until they've melted together, like on the low, and then add some butter at the end to mount it. But today I'm just going to use plain San Marzano tomatoes for the sauce. It's been a busy day. We don't have time for all that. For the kids, I'll do cheese. And then for us, I'll do one of my favorite pizzas, which is olive, sausage, and usually red onion, but I have shallots, so I'm going to do those today. All right, my phone is kind of precariously up here, but I wanted to show you how I do the dough. So you never want to touch this outside layer of it. What we want to do is get all the air bubbles from in here to the outside. So we're going to start by going like this. Do you see how I'm kind of like squishing? I left this one here. Okay. So now, importantly, we've gotten all of the air out here. Now we can start the stretch. So I like to use gravity. If you'll notice, I'm never touching this out thing, but I just keep rotating it and rotating it because gravity will make it larger. And I just keep kind of like shuffling it sideways, and it stretches itself out every time I do that. Then once I've gone completely all the way around one time, which it'll continue to expand. So all right. Now you want to stretch it on the back of your knuckles. If you do it with something else, it will tear it. The back of your knuckles are very thin. So you just kind of like expand it a little. As you can see, we're at 1 minute and 30 seconds in real time of getting the pizza pretty much ready to be stretched out. So let's do it this way. Put it back down here. And then I'll probably let this sit for about 2 or 3 minutes and let it give time for the elasticity to come back together, and then I'm going to stretch it one more time. So then we'll get 2 or 3 more inches out of this total. At that time, I am going to put the sauce on and the cheese and then everything else, and I'll pop back in. Plot twist. The power's out. Let me see if I can turn the... Here's how the pizzas are looking right now. I think we're going to have to pivot and go to plan B. We'll keep you posted. Alright, 2 hours later, power's back on. We're getting ready to put the pizzas in shortly. I will let you know how it goes. By the way, here's how the cheese pizza is
The one
looking.
and only Bob.
Current status 550. It's baking. Here's our first pizza, and the other one's going to come out in a minute. Here's our second pizza right here. This is the pepperoni sausage olive one. They both turned out great, I think. Let's see how the underside looks. It's very hot. Ooh, perfect.